Introduction. His edition of the Bhagavad Gita has been prepared for the use of those who, while studying this Hindu scripture mainly for the sake of its priceless teachings, wish, being little acquainted with Sanskrit, to utilize the text, thus gaining a fuller insight into the meaning than can be gained through a translation, and incidentally acquiring Navbhagya 1388 knowledge of that language also. A brief note on the grammar of Sanskrit, putting before the reader a few of the most salient features thereof, is therefore added here, as likely to be of use. It will help by giving a bird's eye view of the subject and thus some idea of how one part is connected with another. The details must of course be looked up in any large grammar, if needed. Alphabet. A complete alphabet would comprise hundreds, perhaps thousands, of single sounds. Out of these each human race or sub-race uses a comparatively small number, selected in accordance with the constitution of its vocal organs and of other aspects of its physical and superphysical being. There is a correspondence between all the parts of an organism, and the means and instruments of manifestation possessed by a race or nation, as by an individual, are, generally speaking, in correspondence with the ruling passion. The main idea, which that race or nation embodies and has to express. These ideas, passions, emotions, glories, aspects, modifications, of the universal self, spirit, or consciousness, are infinite. The world process which endeavors to express them is infinite. One main idea, others being subordinate, is expressed by one individual, or one race. In any one time and space, beauty, strength, comfort, peace, war, science, law, duty, right, piety, devotion, anesi. The various members of a race, which is the embodiment and exponent of any one such main idea, have to use means of communication with each other to intensify that exposition, to make their lives fuller and deeper. This means, during the present cycle of evolution, is sound language. In other cycles it may be sight language, or touch language, or smell language, anesi. This sound language is made up of single sounds, which, as said before, are in accordance with the body, the physical constitution, of the race, which, again, is in accordance with its spirit, its ruling idea. A race embodying sweetness and gentleness would unconsciously select the soft and sweet sounds for its language. Another manifesting martial strength and spirit, the harsher and more definite ones. The Sanskrit language, embodying dharma, law and order, the instrument of a civilization whose characteristics are systematization, rounded comprehensiveness and completeness. An ordered arrangement of life from beginning to end, and in all departments, is therefore itself systematic. It uses 14 vowels and 35 consonants, a total of 7 sevens. Some put the nasal and the aspirate sounds anuswara and visarga amongst the vowels, and so count them as 16 and the consonants 33. They are arranged systematically, according to the regions of the vocal apparatus whence they proceed, as gutturals, linguae radicals, palatals, cerebrals, dentals, labials, and certain combinations of these beginning from the throat and proceeding outwards. As to why we have here 2 septenaries of vowels and 5 septenaries of consonants is a question which could possibly be answered by one who had sufficient knowledge of world evolution to be able to say why the present human race has 2 hands and 2 feet and 5 senses of knowledge and 5 organs of action, and 5 fingers on each hand and 5 toes on each foot. The question can only tantalize us. But we can vaguely see that if these sounds of the Sanskrit alphabet were multiplied systematically and permuted and combined, we should obtain a scheme which would cover all the languages of the earth, and bring into line all the very various seeming sounds which constitute the several alphabets of these. Taking the linguae radicals, ka, kha, ga, gha, we find that kha is the aspirate of ka, that the guttural of this kha, viz, kha, ki, mi, has been appropriated by the Persian race and language and has disappeared from Sanskrit. That R is only a deepening of Ka, and that U is the aspirate of, that the guttural of Ka, no, and of I, Kh, again, have disappeared from Sanskrit and been appropriated by the Arabic race and language. That is the nasal of, as now pronounced, and that the nasals of the other letters, ka, kha, gha, anasi, are not present in Sanskrit, but may possibly be present in some of the so-called savage languages, as snorts and grunts of various kinds. This process of elimination, of the disappearance of sounds and letters, may be witnessed as being in progress even today. In Sanskrit the vowels ri, la have practically disappeared from use. Their outer written form is preserved, but for all practical purposes of pronunciation they have merged into an IV. The distinction between and is on the wane. The probability, judging by the rules of pronunciation given by Panini, is that in another form of the Persian kh mentioned above, as the discarded ka is that of the Arabic and the similarly abandoned of the Persian ph or f. The nasal letters again aga, nya, ana, na, have a tendency to run, all of them, into the single na.